What's going on, guys?
Did we get it working?
Oh yeah. Yep, we're good. We're recording.
We're recording.
Yeah, no pressure.
Well, I don't know how long they're gonna last, but we'll try. It's the end of the day. They had remote learning today, so they're all tired.
Yeah, that's tough. I can't imagine trying to grow up and have to do remote learning. That was such a weird thing to hear when it first came out.
Yeah, I remember back in the day we used to get like long breaks from school because of ice storms and stuff, and it was like 4 days, and we thought it was crazy. And these guys had months and months and months off. And
yeah, and I can't imagine. I would think like ice days or snow days are not a thing anymore.
No,
because it's just remote learning. They don't get a true snow day anymore.
That's sad. It really is, because I mean, that one snow day or two snow days, in a week or two is so special. I mean, if I was dad, I'd be like, you're not going on the computer today. I don't know.
Yeah, we've made that decision a couple of times. It's frowned upon, but
well, kids got to be kids,
Yeah,
that's right.
That's awesome. So I'm happy to have you guys on here. For those of you who are watching or listening, because this is new for me, doing video and audio. So this is kind of cool. If you're listening, we've got Travis Jr. and Molly and Alicia. Thank you guys for coming on. This is exciting. I was looking for, actually, Travis and I have talked about doing a podcast probably for quite a while now. So finally things lined up, and I'm happy to have everybody on. As everyone knows, like, motocross is such a huge family sport, especially the grassroots stuff. I thought it was pretty important. Like, if everyone is here, it'd be really cool to like have the family there. And even if the little ones can't hang out the whole time, no worries. Not a lot of people have patience for me anyways, so including my girlfriend. So we're always testing the patience here. But so to start, Travis, I wanted to kind of ask you, I mean, motocross was such a, I don't know, like, do you think motocross would have been a thing for the family if you had never really gotten introduced into it? Do you think there would be some sort of way to get into it, or?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough because it's such a weird niche sport, like, there has to be some introduction to it. And I think that's what we're working on now more than anything, is like, how do we introduce families into it? How do we get more people to the track? How do we do that outreach? Because I don't know if it ever would have been a thing. I mean, we could be a football family or a traditional sports family if it hadn't have been for me racing dirt bikes growing up. Obviously it's in the blood. But just to circle back, that's what we're working on now, is how do we get more people into this sport that are outside? Because if someone scrolls, on the TV and they scroll by, it looks impossible like that. Yeah. It looks like an impossible sport to get into, when in all reality, it's probably one of the lowest barrier to entry motorsports that you can get into. You can find a dirt bike for $1,500 and get your kid riding it. So how do we, just I don't know. I don't think we would have. I'd like to say we would have, but probably would have been playing soccer and cheering and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's funny. Like, I grew up, I think I was 4 actually when I got on my bike, and I don't think my father would have introduced motocross to me if it wasn't for his brother-in-law, my mother's brother. He raced NESC in the 80s, and said, just, you got Tyler a dirt bike, but does he want to race? And it was like, yeah. What's racing? So like you said, it was like, unless you have some outside force to kind of come in and say, hey, how about this? Because I played soccer as a little kid. I played hockey, street hockey. I mean, my dad's not like, oh, you have to play this sport, but it was like, what do you want to do? And that's what I did. It's wrong with
it's a referral sport. That's how you hear everybody got into it. That's how Brian Deegan got into it. Like, it's a referral sport. Somebody says, hey, you should try this. And which is good. That means the people that we have in the sport are super passionate, and they're all about spreading the love and getting more people in. But, man, imagine if we had some other catalyst,
Yes. Now, I don't have no clue how you'd go about that, but I believe you've been working on something like that.
We're working on all kinds of stuff. As a family, as you know, companies like you know, my business partner Paul Mishu is very, very motocross oriented. Grew up racing dirt bikes. His brother Craig, same thing. So we started Patramoto a few years ago, helping out one of our buddies race. Tried to get him to Loretta's, didn't quite get him there, but when he came home, it turned into something a lot more. Craig, Paul's brother, went and got certified as a coach through the U.S. Coaching Association. I think it's USMC Coaching.
USMCA, I think.
USMCA, yeah, man, you're on top of it. So he's a certified coach, which I think is an amazing program to get certified, to get coaches certified, because a lot of these kids, you know, they come up to ride dirt bikes and they hear there's a coach. Well, it's hard for me to convince mom to let my kid go ride with somebody that, like, who is this kid? Oh, he's a pro motocrosser. Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. So to have somebody with certifications, like he's CPR certified, he knows what to do if there's an emergency, he's trustworthy, like that's a cool organization for that. And we have Craig Mishu, who got certified. He's our Patramoto coach. And through Hemans Motocross Park up in Minot, we've developed some really cool classes and really cool programs to get kids on striders and to transition onto 50s and do coaching. And so we've developed this kind of this company Patramoto to get new people in, you know, and it's all about education, and it's on a small level, but what we've talked about is how do we franchise this, quote unquote, and make sure that every single track has some sort of a farm system. Like, you know, my opinion, there should be no 50 class anywhere that you have to pay for. Like 50 classes should be free. Like, get those kids in and get them riding dirt bikes and racing dirt bikes. Have some sort of farm program, have some sort of coach. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of tracks down south that have coaches on site. We need that everywhere.
Really?
You know? Yeah, like we went to Spider MX this winter and we're riding, and I was talking to a guy down there. Ended up being an old pro that I filmed my whole life, and I'd never met him. And he's a coach down there full time. Wow. So you know, they've got it. They're starting to get it figured out, but we need a pamphlet. Like, there needs to be, like, when you go there, what do I do? You know what? Yeah. You know, so we're slowly working on that with Patramoto. Slowly trying to educate and get tracks involved in that.
Well, that must be fun. So to Travis, the little Travis, the small Travis, have you ever done any of the Stasic rides up in Maine that your dad company had started up and done?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What was it like for you? Did you have a lot of fun doing that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I can see how, like, if something might be intimidating, like a race, a big like race you pay money for, and the kid I don't know, I don't remember being that young as far as like what I felt like, but I could see how maybe if it's not a very competitive thing, it's just for fun. You teach a kid young at that age, it's about fun. It becomes more of an addicting thing, I would say, for lack of better word.
Yeah. So that's a lot of the goal behind it, is just that outreach and getting kids involved. And we have some things planned at Hemans at the motocross park this year for doing more of that, more 50s, getting 50s there, getting 50s on the track and riding and teaching them what it's all about. Because honestly, it's worked up here. We go to races now and there's full gates of 50s. Mm-hmm. Like, we didn't have that, you know, like there was a time where, you know, like the 65 class right now is empty and the 85 class, we're having trouble there because we didn't do that. We didn't rebuild. We didn't regrow. In typical motocross fashion, everybody took the money they were making and they didn't reinvest it the right way. So that's the education that we're working on right now and again, we're at a very small level, but we're trying to grow.
Well, I like that. I mean, and anything worthwhile doing is going to take a little bit of time doing. Things take time to build. They don't happen overnight. Now, Molly, have you done any SASIC rides, or do you ride dirt bikes at all with your brother?
I ride his PW, but and I do ride my Stasic, but I didn't do a race.
She hasn't done a race.
No.
Yeah.
Her last big ride was she got a little cocky and rode into the side of our motorhome. So
I did not like that, so I was too afraid to ride. No, Dad, it was the Sundance.
it was the
It's
Sundance, yeah.
Oh man. But you're
Yeah.
okay. You look okay. You just bumped your head, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. I've definitely done that on my. So I had a PW, and I thought I'd be funny and get on the bike with shorts and sandals, and I was probably 6, maybe probably 5 actually. And I'm just gonna go ride, and same thing. I just went down a little hill, a little bit of rocks. Next thing you know, the pipe's burning my leg, and
Yeah.
the lessons you learn as a kid, they stick with you.
Mhm.
Well, I think that's an important thing too, is like, teaching these kids what speed does and what impacts do at a young age, because there's a lot of people that turn 15, 16 years old that have never done anything like that.
Yep.
Somebody gives them a 4-wheeler or a snowmobile, and everything nowadays, they're like 800cc or above.
Mhm.
I mean, these guys just go out and they don't realize what happens when you hit a tree, So
Yeah.
So that's, to me, motorsports is important for that,
Yeah, I can attest to that, where even at like local tracks, sometimes they'll have the big open practices, and you see some people show up with like very minimal gear, and I don't think it's a I don't care attitude. I think it's a more of I don't know or understand the risk involved, because they see it on TV. They don't know anyone that's ever really been hurt from it. Oh yeah, Joe broke a foot. Oh, okay, whatever. But people have passed away from this type of thing. It's a very serious thing. And like you said, it all goes back to the education of like when somebody gets in, the education, the right way, the right gear, the right mindset to have is important. But like those are the kind of people we should reach out to when we see them, and just say, hey, look, you must be new, and don't take it the wrong way, but hey, maybe a new helmet, or I recommend this gear, or maybe some new boots. Like, it's important. I mean, I have examples of my own, like on my own foot injury. I had boots that were probably way too worn in, right? They were just too broken in. And my foot, I had surgery, all that stuff. And if I had just maybe spent the extra $400 or $500 ahead of time and got another pair of boots, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But anyways, I just think to help our sport grow, that would be important.
If you think about it, try to pull up to the practice track sometime without pretending you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like try it sometime, because you're going to find yourself lost. There's no one there to point you in the right direction. Try walking into a dealership sometime and ask them some stupid questions, what you call stupid questions. And they are going to make you feel like you're not in your element.
Yeah.
It's a character trait that we have with some dealerships and the industry as a whole, that if you're an outsider, you're an outsider. You don't belong with us.
Mhm.
That's how people get hurt, and that's how we don't grow. So again, that goes back to that basic education that we need to do from the start. How do we, when someone shows up to the track, what do they do? Where do they go? How do we make sure they're safe? I've seen guys go on the track and ride it backwards immediately, and that's scary,
It's
because
very
there's no education there,
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine seeing someone get on the track backwards, but you're right. I do. That kind of perspective is true. Like, go to the track and pretend you don't know anything, and see if you can find information on how to do it and what to do. I even like, you go to like, I'll go to Winchester sometimes for a Saturday race, and you'll have somebody come over and say, where do I sign up? And what do I, and it's kind of like, at first you're like, oh dude, like right here. But then you think about it, now that you say it, if you just maybe think about it, it doesn't seem like there's much core information on how to actually do any of that stuff.
Well, I walked up to look at TJ's results at Winchester this past weekend, and there was a lady sitting there, and she goes, I only see half of my kid's results. There's only 2 races here, and he did 4 races. said, well, what class is he in? She said, the 50 class. I said, okay, well, there's 4 motos, but they're 2 overalls. And like, we went through this whole thing and she's like, I'm lost. We're hockey people, you know, like, but it was cool, you know, and it goes to show like this, it is a weird concept. Motocross is for weird people, man. And so again, that education and don't get me wrong, like the tracks do an amazing job for what they have to do. They're short staffed. They're dealing with a ton of problems. They're dealing with people that are pretty pushy and very opinionated. They do a hell of a job. It's just, how do we figure out how to do it better, and how do we support them? You know, like as riders, and you know, I've got a marketing company. Like, how do we support them, do it better? You know,
what are some of the small steps that you guys have taken or plan on taking to kind of like combat that?
So we started with our software company. We started building software called Eastern Motocross Network, EMXN, and we actually do all the registration for the Racer X main event. We've done it a couple of years in a row. It's worked really good. We're working out a lot of the kinks right now, because that's a big pain point too, is registration. Like Capeway, we went to Capeway on Sunday and I stood in line for a half hour to register. It's just, and again, not saying that they're doing it wrong. They're doing it the way that we've done for years. It's just, we're in 2021. How can we help them do it better? So, you know, we're building this software and we're trying to build a better platform to offer to these tracks, and try to find a way to offer it to them at a price that they can afford, because they can't go out and get $1,000 piece of software to run their registration. It's not in the budget. So that's what Paul and I and our team at our company are working on in our spare time and trying to build.
That's cool. What do you guys see as like the biggest hurdle for like moto parents with a young child going into a race? I know it's kind of a little off topic of combating some of the issues in the last conversation there, but I mean, as moto parents, I guess what's the biggest struggle, I guess you could say, as far as like getting started and being safe? Obviously, at the end of the day, everyone just wants to be safe and have fun.
Oh, Mom, what do you struggle with?
I think that what we struggle with is making sure that we make it fun for everybody, including Molly. We spend a lot of our time at the track, practicing, racing. It's a full weekend event. Sometimes it's 3 days, and making sure that she has fun in addition to TJ as well. And it not being, not necessarily so competitive, but not being a job for him, and making sure that he's, you know, we're always pushing for him to know that go out there, do your best and have fun. Don't, you know, stay on 2 wheels and have fun. That's important. And I think, you know, Molly's developed a lot of relationships at the track with some of the other moto sisters, as we call it. So she does enjoy going and seeing her friends that she doesn't get to see because we don't go to the same school and whatnot, especially in the middle of a pandemic and the situation that we're going through. It's been a lifesaver to have dirt bikes during this.
Yeah, I have to agree with the dirt bikes being a lifesaver. Even like last year, middle of the pandemic and everything, being able to like have NESC do a series and stuff like that, it was really good to just have a great turnout. You know, everybody was safe, obviously, but it was good because, like you said, I mean, I grew up with 2 younger sisters too. My father and my mother would drag all of us to the race, and my sisters were never like, "Oh, I don't want to go." It was like, "Yeah, we'll go." They loved camping out. Yeah. You know, you'd make it a family. We spent every weekend at Winchester. That was what we did as a family, and I think that kind of, you know, that can be the same thing for a lot of families. But yeah, it's very important that at the end of the day, everybody's safe. And because I've seen I even grew up, right? I mean, I was racing 85s and 65s in like 04, 05. And I had friends whose parents were just awful to their kids about racing. And I think my father saw that. And in turn, he just told me to just have fun. Like you said, Mom, you know, it's like, just have fun. Oh, sorry, the cat.
Yeah, TJ's playing with our dog right now too.
Yeah,
so.
it's a totally laid back family environment. The cat.
And I think that a lot of the time, you know, like for example, when I was a first mom, not knowing, the best kind of stroller, the best kind of car seats, like all those safety things. And if I didn't have Travis, and I grew up, racing motocross, not myself personally, but my family did. So, I've been at the track, I know these things, but as far as the equipment and the safety goes of it, like you can go online and find, helmets and things like that, but how do you know what the best kind of helmet is? So I think that pushing that on our social media as best as we can, saying, hey, this Fly Formula helmet is great. It's one of the safest helmets you can get, or the 60s, or this motocross vest. Like, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that message us on Instagram about TJ's vest. And what kind is this? Where do you get it? And, we're constantly posting links for all the different equipment, and I think that that's also important, is for us to be able to push that out to people who don't know. And we've reached so many people, I feel like, between TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. And I think that's helpful as well. And I think that's one of our goals as a family, is to make sure that we're pushing that safety piece as far as what kind of equipment,
And I'll tell you what, right now, there's this weird dynamic going on with motocross where I don't field inquiries from dads wanting their kids to race. I rarely get a message from a dad that wants his kid to race. It's mostly moms. Oh my God, my kid's 3 years old. How do we do this?
Mm-hmm.
My kid's 4. I want him to do this. It's these moto moms. And it goes back to the roots of motocross. Motocross came from, I think it was like World War II, when, all the vets came home and they started riding motorcycles, and they started racing two-wheeled, old things. Yes, thank you, Molly. They were badasses. These guys were smoking cigarettes and racing dirt bikes, and like, these were the guys that all the girls wanted, right? Because they're hanging it out there. And I think right now we're in this weird culture phase where there's been a downfall of that badass man, right? Like, where is that guy? Like, he's at college right now, or he's a liberal arts mate. I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying, I think these moms want to build little warriors. I think these moms want these kids to be, grow up and be able to take the world on. Like, let's do UFC. Like, let's get them into jujitsu, and let's have these kids have something different that sets them apart from everybody else that they're in school with. It still blows my mind that all of his friends at school don't know what dirt bikes are all about. They just don't know, and so to me, that's what motocross has become. And like Alicia said, I bet I field an inquiry a day from somebody asking questions. How do I do this? What do I do? Point me in the right direction.
And with your given social media presence, you guys are in a really good spot to educate people the proper way. I mean, obviously, you guys been in the game for a while now. You've seen a lot of things, done a lot of things, learned, which is really important. I mean, that's like, I don't know, I can't really stress it enough that, like, if you have the information, that's good information for others to learn from, it's important to share it. I feel like there's some people that know quite a bit, but just never speak of any of it. And it's not like they're doing it intentionally, but if you have a voice, if you have a way to get that out there,
And the important thing for us is, the first thing I tell them is like, look, I don't know everything. Here's how we did it. That's it. Like, there is a million ways. Every kid's different. I was talking to Robbie Marshall Saturday about, he's like, man, my kid didn't want anything to do with grabbing the handlebars. Just didn't want to grab the handlebars. We'd ride around all day long. Didn't want to grab the handlebars. Finally grabbed the handlebars, and now I can't get them off of 2 wheels. Like, they're all different, and you can't force something, and you can't push something. This is scary. It is scary to put a kid on 2 wheels. That kid's going to hit something. That kid's going to crash. And it's scary to watch your kid do that. But at the end of the day, my kid's probably got more balls than I do right now. Like, he's probably faster than me. Like, he was putting laps in this weekend that blew me away. Like, oh my God, like, he's just on a 50 and he's railing. So yeah, I kind of lost where I was going there with that, but
it's okay. I think I think that's awesome. And like, I'd like to see, maybe we can do like a side-by-side lap time of you and TJ.
He'd win. He'd win.
Totally.
Yeah, we no media of me on a dirt bike, please.
How long has it been since you've been on one?
So I raced last year a couple of times. Took a rock to the finger, and Andy Matthew makes fun of me repeatedly about it because I made the mistake of putting one of those little finger casts on.
Oh
because
yeah.
it hurt so bad. Yeah, Andy won't let me live that one down. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have put that on there. But no, I still race every once in a while. It's just tough with a kid and at the track. The guys that do it, like the Shane Kelleher's, that guy he's a god. Like, he's got his kids out there. I bet they spun. I wasn't at Southwick, but I bet that family as a whole spun 400 laps around that track. You know, so the guys like that are a special breed. You know.
Yeah, I have to say that because I was there. It's funny. You'll see like dad line up, and then like photos later, the kids are down there. Dad's at the trailer doing whatever, getting ready, helping the kids get ready. But it's like always a Kelleher on the line within the 15-20 minute break. You know, it's
I think it was last year we were at Heeman's and I started right next to Shane, and I came off a little crooked and I rode his arm at Heeman's at Sawmill. I rode his arm all the way to the first turn, and he literally carried me. And I got around him, and then like on the off camber, two or three turns later, I washed the front, crashed right in front of him. We're lining up the next moto, and he goes, "Hey, one, how's about you don't do that again? And two, that was funny." He goes, "I loved seeing you crash after you tried to make me crash." That guy's a bruiser, man.
Oh yeah, I think they call him
scary guy.
Yes, scary guy.
That's scary guy.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Definitely an earned name. Because I mean, I've seen him kind of go back and forth with somebody. I think it was last year, the year before, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like, I mean, for local racing, I was like, whoa, like somebody's a little upset. And I don't think it was on Kelleher. I think it was just somebody was getting a little aggressive, and he's like, "I don't play like that. Watch."
No, he doesn't.
You want to hang? Let's go. Let's hang.
I stopped at the race shop earlier this week, and there was rubber on Andy Matthews' bike from Shane. So they go for it.
That's what's so cool about like the older generation of the guys that are still racing. These guys are in their 40s, 50s, maybe. And they're still just giving it all. I mean, some guys, obviously, I'm thinking myself, when I get a little bit older, I'll probably back it down a little bit. I've never been much of a guy to kind of bump everybody if I had to, but it's cool. And I think it teaches the kids a lesson too, as far as being competitive, but having fun and not being too serious about it. Cause I've definitely seen people get in each other's faces over a dirty pass or something, you know?
Yeah, and that too, it goes back to what we try to teach them as well. Like, is we want to be competitive. Like, motocross is competitive. It's a competitive sport. You're testing yourself. You're testing your competition. But at the end of the day, we're not out here to go pro. There's not many people around us that are going to make it pro. And if they do make it pro, it is not a great career at the moment. It is not something to be sought after. So we put a lot of emphasis on, have fun, ride the bike safe, be competitive. But at the end of the day, if we get second, third, fourth, fifth, it's okay. And there are a lot of people that win practice out there. We see them every weekend. And they'll win practice and they'll rub it in your face. There's all kinds of people like that in every sport,
Yeah, everywhere you go in the world, you find somebody like that, even if it's work related. I see that all the time,
Oh yeah.
Look at me, look at the pipe I put up in the hanger. Like, all right, that's great.
Yeah.
We're all doing the same thing, buddy. But it's,
hey, thank you for wearing the shirt, man.
Oh yeah. If you guys ever want to cop one of these, hold on, let me see if I can spin around.
Oh man,
there we go.
If you the shirt,
that's another thing. Like, with Molly being at the track, she loves to draw. She loves to be artistic. So, we had a conversation with her, and she said she wanted to make some t-shirts and start a company. So, last year we did some designs. We have one t-shirt out and one hat, and I think this week alone I've shipped out 6 packages. Utah, Florida, Colorado, California.
Wow.
People are loving the brand, and we're putting it in Molly's camp. You know, she's the designer, she's the director. She tells us what she does want to do and what she doesn't want to do.
Yep.
That's awesome, Molly. I love the design on it, because I feel like some shirts are over designed and overdrawn, and then there's some that are like this where it's just perfect. It's like it's I guess I don't know how to, I guess you could use the word grassroots or something. You know, it's like it doesn't need to be fancy. It's to the point, and it really grabs people's attention. My sister loved the shirt, actually. She said, "Where'd you get that?" I said, Travis Steward, his daughter Molly's making them, you know, and I think she started following the account. So it's cool.
That's awesome,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah, thank you for making awesome shirts. And I keep seeing you guys do a lot of awesome stuff on social media, especially with your brand, Molly. You guys are starting to grow, so that's really exciting. Where do you want to be in, maybe, let's say, 5 years with the brand? What would you like to see it doing? More shirts?
That's a hard question.
That is a hard question.
Yeah.
What do you-
Well, we can, yeah.
I don't know.
We're working on different designs. We have a really great relationship. One of our go ahead.
I want to make face masks.
She wants to do the face mask. She wants to get
yeah.
those done. We have an awesome relationship. One of our big sponsors, EJP Racing, he's actually the guy that supports Andy Matthew. Is a big part of his team. His wife has been amazing. She's a designer and you know, promotional products and all that stuff, and does all the apparel for us. So
Yeah.
it's been good. Yeah,
That's awesome.
We got a lot of good people in our court.
I feel bad for asking a big question like that. I'm sorry.
No, that was perfect. You got to test them. That's why we
right.
go to the line every weekend.
True. And you know, I feel like these type of family sports like motocross and stuff like that definitely teaches even like a grown adult like myself and younger kids, teaches you a lot about life and trying things and not being afraid to try things. Actually, the sound bite that you grabbed from Mike Rondall actually really struck a chord with me, because he's right. I mean, a lot of people I know that are motocross riders typically take more risks or try different things, or aren't afraid of being themselves and just having fun. I think it teaches a lot. And I think it's great that you guys have, you know, your kids doing this type of stuff, and you're doing it right too. I think, in my opinion, I think it's no pressure. Let's just have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, don't get me wrong. There's some pressure. We don't want them to be complacent. We tell our kids, whatever they do, whatever they compete in, they better give 110%. You know, it's you know, and that is exactly how life is. And you know, you mentioned Mike. I've known Mike for a very long time. He's actually the guy that really got me going in the industry. He's just, when you listen to him talk, he's so inspirational. That one soundbite that I pulled is one of a billion you can pull from him. He's passionate about this sport, and he sees what you learn. And I think for us, that's been the biggest thing is teaching our family what life is all about, and doing it in a controlled setting like motocross has been really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think there's much of a better setting. I mean, even like hockey, I played hockey. My dad was never the kind of guy to be like that crazy hockey dad, but I saw it as I got older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I played street hockey, and I'd still see parents and coaches getting crazy. And I'm like, we're playing a pickup game, dude. It's not, you know.
But that's part of the culture too. It's a cultural thing. Hockey and football, you are culturally taught to scream and fight. And if you don't push your way through, you're not going to make it. They teach that, you know, and I think motocross, there's a little bit more finesse. You can approach it differently, and you don't have to push your way through, you know?
Yep. I agree. Yep.
So what are the plans for the podcast from here, man? Where are you headed?
Oh, nice. You threw a question right at me. Here we go. I actually haven't planned out anything crazy, but I've got all sorts of crazy ideas in my head. And that's kind of how I've been, is like freestyle it. So what I'm planning on doing is video stuff like this with you guys and other people. I got got awesome guys coming on tomorrow. We're going to recap Southwick, kind of talk about some stuff. One of the guys, Dylan Tremblay, I battled with him a little bit, and I teased him on Instagram yesterday that he saw a lot of my rear end yesterday, and that's why he had to sell his 350.
That's awesome. So I met him at Blake Baggett's a couple of months ago. We went down to check out Blake Baggett's place. Wow. And there's this dude just hanging out with Eric, and I'm like, hey, I'm Travis. Hey, I'm Dylan. Nice to meet you. He's number 156, right?
Yep. That's He's got a mustache.
He's like a really good kid, man.
He is. No, he's awesome. And I consider us good friends. And he's actually kind of the reason why I've kept my mustache. We've been trying to do a mustache off. So
that's awesome, man.
I did like a vote on Instagram 2 months ago, and I just started mine, and I totally lost. I was like, who has a better mustache? And everyone loved his. And I'm like, man, I think you don't give up. It's getting better.
Never give up. I'd cut mine in, but she wouldn't talk to me until I got rid of it.
I think it's growing on my girlfriend now. At first she was like, I don't know, but I've had it for a few months, so he hasn't said to take it off, so I'll keep it. But yeah, as far as the podcast stuff goes, I'm going to continue with the audio stuff, but what I want to do is try to, similar to what you guys do, is like, if I can help educate people on different things. I'm not the know-all, be-all, or end-all of everything, but I guess I've had a lot of good friends that have educated me on certain topics, maybe even like some fitness stuff and just wellness. I worked with Jay Cav for a long time, who does rack racing, mental coaching. Yeah. I was with him for 2 years, and I do credit him with actually helping me change my life around completely. Just my outlook, really. Without him helping me change my outlook, I wouldn't have a podcast. I probably would have struggled to get my plumbing license. A lot of things. There's a lot of things that I didn't realize about myself until he pointed them out and told me, you're this and you're not doing enough of this. And I had to just go, okay, and try changing. And so anyways, there's a lot of things that I learned that I want to share with people. I get a buzz off of helping others. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I started this podcast was, if I can bring some sort of information out, or even give someone a spotlight, and that helps them feel better, or that helps them grow their brand or something. That's a goal, really, is if I can have a big enough input into the motocross scene in New England, maybe I can help somebody, I guess you can say like, not influence, but just make a presence, so it's pretty cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes footage here. Behind the scenes footage for the vlog. That's awesome, man. And like I said, ever since we started talking, I really dug your attitude and what you're trying to do, because I think we're all trying to do the same thing, and that's grow individually, grow professionally, grow financially. Everybody's out to do the same thing, and I think hooking up and getting good people together is only gonna grow everything. So
yeah.
And I'm a diehard New England guy. I've always thought there's something special with New England and our athletes that we produce, and the community that we have, and anything we can do to grow that is huge.
100%. I mean, in the last 2.5 years that I've been doing this, I've learned so much about the people in New England, and always the same thing comes back, is that we're all pretty much down to earth. We have to suffer 4 months of winter, and we go into the spring months and we start riding dirt bikes, and everyone seems to have the same ideals and values as far as, all right, come on, Kitty, don't do that.
Don't worry, I got TJ who's upside down off the couch right now. So. Yeah, and actually Rob Beams, was talking about how that helps athletes take that time off, and it helps them slingshot, so it's really cool.
Yeah, it keeps myself, even myself, it keeps me motivated. Hey, spring's coming. I mean, Southwick round 1 this weekend, it was stacked. It was the 25A class had 17 people in it. The B class had 19, almost 20 people in it. The C class had another 20 something kids. I've never seen that many 25 plus guys line up before. Yeah. a full gate of 450A and Pro and 250A and Pro. It was really cool. A lot of guys that do normally do J days actually came out and raced for a round. And
That's awesome.
that's what I think is so cool about this, is that you can have one race where everyone just kind of comes out, everyone's hanging it out. I like to shout out Tyler Holmes, because he's always taking videos on his phone of all the different motos, and he actually gets quite a good amount of footage that's
cool.
worth watching. So yeah, if you check out, I think it's T Holmes 399. He's gonna
I follow him.
okay.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening or watching and don't follow him, you should, because if you missed a race, you can definitely catch most of the heated action from him. So it's pretty cool. There's something about New England that I just like. I love so much. There's times in the wintertime where I'm like, I would love to just be in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. And I'm like, I could move down there, and I'm like, I'm going to miss New England way too much. And now that I've been doing this podcast and stuff, I feel like I'm just like rooted. I can't really like, not that I can't leave, but is it the same if I try to do a podcast about New England, if I'm not
right? You're not there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love this place so much. And I feel like for me, when I was growing up, I was 14 when my father stopped doing dirt bikes, and he said, no more, he can't do it. And so I missed a whole 7 or 8 years of motocross. It was never like a thing in my life. I watched Supercross races casually. I mean, 2 out of the 17 they do. And as I got older, I'm like, I got to get back into it. And I realized like it was harder than I thought. And I was like, man, it's not the same. I don't remember it being like this. But the more time I spent, the more I realized it is the same. And there's a lot of great people still. I made a lot of great friends again. So it's something about this area, because I've talked to people who moved into different areas, whether it's West Coast or it's South. The vibe is not the same. You will find good people no matter where you go in the motocross community. I'm confident you'll find good people that care. But I've heard some stories, and I won't get into it, but just there's a certain vibe of like, who's that guy? Whatever. And it's, you don't really get a lot of cool guy action in New England. I feel like every now and then everyone's a little quirky. Some people just socially don't want to be sociable, I guess, but that's okay. Everyone's different, right? So, I just think it's something special in New England where, Southwick, again, this weekend was awesome. Everyone's hanging around. Everyone's excited to see each other again, because most of the people that you see at NESC, NEMAX, Winchester, you don't get to see them throughout the winter. It's just how it is. So
back with your extended family.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure TJ and Molly love that, to go and see their friends again. I mean, Molly, do you just go running around with your friends? What do you guys do at the races?
I play dirt bikes.
Yeah.
At a place that we just went to last weekend, I played Nintendo and played my phone a lot. And
that's cool.
Electronics are very important on these road trips.
Nope. Yep. I can imagine.
We help build the dirt bike tracks with the boys.
Yeah.
They play their toy dirt bikes.
And I did a lot of splits, and the next morning I was sore. I was sore.
She was practicing her cheer.
That's awesome. So you're a big supporter of your brother.
Yeah, when we can get her out of the toy hauler for his races, she'll come out. She's good for 1 moto a day.
Hey, that's all you get. That's fine. That's okay.
Well, TJ, you want to come say bye? Come on.
Bye.
We're gonna get these guys
Ice cream.
Well, they get ice cream now apparently. So we're gonna go get them ice cream.
Can we go outside?
Thank you so much for having us, man. Let's do it again. Maybe we'll do a live show or something later on this year and circle the wagons and see if we've accomplished anything in 2021.
Love to. I hope to see you guys soon. If you guys are down in lower New Hampshire area, let me know, and I'll swing up and race.
Oh yeah, we I think the next thing for us is area qualifier at Southwick.
Oh nice.
Gonna see how that goes. If that goes okay, maybe go to the regional. But that's a lot of stress, so we'll see.
It's a lot of everything, man. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed your time, and thanks for being so patient, TJ and Molly. I appreciate you guys hanging out.
You guys.
Easy.
Oh,
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
we do this.
let's see. Are you hanging up?
There we go.
You don't even know
Can
where
you
to
hang it
go.
up?
Oh, right here. I had a lot of experience.